are now tuned.
You are now tuned into
Ignorant Bliss, quick hit.
Bumpers.
Yo, hold fast. This is a spoiler review. Mass spoilers. Be warned. What up, folks? I'm back again with another quick hit here. This one is going to be my thoughts on Cars 3. Comes out this week of June 16th, 2017. The voice actors are the stars. Owen Wilson as Lightning McQueen, Cristela Alonso as Cruz Ramirez, Armie Hammer as Jackson Storm, Larry the Cable Guy as good old Mater, Bonnie Hunt as Sally Carrera, Nathan Fillion's in this is Sterling, Tony Shalhoub is back as Luigi, Kerry Washington's in this is Natalie Certain. Funny. Even have my man Bob Costas in here as Bob Cutlass. It is directed by Brian Fee, Pixar, part of Disney. Third Cars movie. People like to hit on Cars. I really enjoyed that first one. It was basically Doc Hollywood, but with like talking, living, anthropomorphic cars. 2, while I was entertained by, isn't that it's not terrible, but it's not great either. It's like, pretty good. You got Mater. It's a fish out of water story with basically Austin power cars. Spy stuff, international race. Mater gets to be the hero. Lightning gets to be a sidekick. But here in Cars 3, it's basically, I don't know, maybe it has to be like maybe 12 years since the first Cars. Maybe, I know it's more than 10. So you have Lightning McQueen. He's kind of at the later end of his career, and he's sitting there, still racing, still winning, still beating his rivals, the people of his era. And then all of a sudden you get like these new race cars led by Jackson Storm, and they're doing the VR races. They're training in the on the freaking treadmills, making sure their little things are super aerodynamic, so they know how get the most optimum speed. They always get the right line, so it never ever have a bad lap. So he's getting beat. He's out there trying to prove himself. Then he gets in this movie it's a car, so he crashes and that's being injured. So he's out. He misses the rest of the season, and no one hears or sees from him. He's reliving, his past time with Doc Hudson, who was voiced by Paul Newman in the first one, his mentor. And, he's trying to psych himself back up, like he needs to get back out there. He don't think his time is done. He think he still got it. He think he can still get out there and win. So, no one believes in him because everybody's like, yo, you too old, fam. You too old. And he's like, nah, man, I ain't that old, I ain't that old in the game. I can still do this. I can come back. They're like, nah, a new company bought Rusty's, like a new guy. That's the Sterling guy by Nathan Fillion. And he basically builds it up. And he's just like, basically, I don't really need you to race. I kind of just want you to be like this face so we can sell mad mud flaps and everything else. But he's like, yo, I still got in there. So he hooks him up with this trainer named Cruz Ramirez. And everybody's babying him. So he decides to go off on his own. He makes a deal with Sterling. He's gonna get it popping. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go to this race. If I make this race, I win this race, yo, I'm back in. If I don't, I'm done, B. Like I'm out here. So basically, it's this long road trip. Him and Cruz. She's trying to train him. He's trying to take things back, what I'm saying? He's on some Rocky 4 stuff where, when Rocky was freaking pulling boulders and running in the snow to fight Ivan Drago. He's trying to do that for cars. So he's like driving on beaches, driving in the mud, all this type of stuff. And, she's not really getting it. She's a newfangled racer. She's young. But, she always had this heart to want to race. And And the movie, before I go even further, I already spoiled too much for y'all. Deals with like their interactions. Basically, Lightning McQueen going from the young rookie Luke Skywalker character to being like the Obi-Wan character. But kind of like, McGregor, Obi-Wan, he's looking all fresh with the beard. Yeah. So it's like that. I don't know how people's gonna take this movie. I thought it was a pretty good sports movie, like one of those really good athletes movies. Some of my colleagues in the review game, Nell Minow, she was like, it's kind of like Rocky. I was like, there's some Rocky moments in it. There's a little bit like of Invincible, that Mark Wahlberg movie. Any of those Disney sports movies from the last 15 years, you can see some of that in here. Trying to just get back up into it. Trying to believe he's the underdog, overcome, still see he still got it in him. And it really works. The CG really isn't that super impressive. But right now, we're in a phase where I don't know if the movies can do anything super impressive for these animated movies. They have their looks. This is a franchise, so they can't change things too much. Some of the racing scenes are really, really great, and they really try to capture some of the look and feel of really well filmed races. But then I'm sitting there, I'm kind of old. I'm like, this really doesn't look that much better. Like, actually, it doesn't look as good as like Gran Turismo or Forza. But I guess it doesn't have to be, since these aren't really real cars. They're like cartoon talking cars. But they do make the attempts to the races to look really, really, really impressive. The voice acting's good. It has some good jokes in it. It's good callbacks to the previous movies. A lot of homaging to Paul Newman's Doc Hudson. Kind of like when you were watching the last Star Trek movie and they made all these allusions to Leonard Nimoy's, OG Spock. It was good. It was cool. It's a good movie. I think kids will like it. I think kids always like cars. I think adults was mostly hating. Like, they too busy trying to think about things like how can cars have babies and like where the organ, like stuff you don't need to think about. It's like if you ever play with some toy cars and you kind of imagine them doing stuff. That's all the movie is. And overall, they tell a good story. I don't know how it's going to sit in the whole scheme of the animated movies from the big companies this year. Despicable Me 3 might, knock it out the water, or it might not. Coco's coming out later on. But overall, I really like this movie. I gave it 4 stars on when I put my star rating on Letterboxd. And you can also read my review on punchdrunkcritics.com. Yeah, this is good. I think you should go see it. Especially you got kids and family and all that. Or you can, what? Some of y'all just going to wait till it come out. Still, I don't think you'll be bored. It's a good movie. Thanks for listening. You can follow me at Julian Lytle on all social media. Ignorant Bliss. Its Twitter is IGBL Podcast. It's also on Facebook as Ignorant Bliss Podcast. Email is ignorantblisspodcast@gmail.com. Main website for the main podcast is ignorant-bliss.com. It's on all the iTunes and everything. I'm thinking about adding this bumpers version on there also soon. So take a look at that and, follow me on stuff and you'll see. All right, y'all. Pieces.